discuss your situation. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
If you can dream it, Fair Construction can turn it into reality. Shop local, Fair Construction Company. I'm Ron Hall. Investing in property can be nerve-wracking. It does not have to be. Fair Construction offers high-quality craftsmanship, quick response, and attention to detail. Our goal is to keep your expenses low while focusing on our attention on high-quality services. I'm Ron Hall. Shop local. Let our family business help you. Fair Construction Company.
It's All That's News with Matt Lane on News Radio WGNS.
Let's update today's top national stories next on All That's News.
Portions of our programming have been pre-recorded. The Good Neighbor Network. WGNS Murfreesboro. W270AF Murfreesboro. W263AI Murfreesboro, Smyrna.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. The Justice Department says the shooter who killed 2 Brown students and an MIT professor planned the attack for months. The DOJ has revealed that Claudio Neves Valente had planned the attack for at least 6 semesters and left the video behind. CBS's Anna Schechter.
He reveals that he had been planning the attack for quite some time. He said, quote, I had plenty of opportunities, especially this semester. I had plenty of opportunities, but I always chickened out.
Former Brown student and Portuguese national was found dead in a New Hampshire storage facility. Greenland and Denmark are asking for a speedy meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio as President Trump talks about taking over the self-governed Danish territory.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt released a statement saying President Trump has made it well known that acquiring Greenland is a national security priority of the United States, adding military action is an option. Tom Hoem is the former minister of Greenland for the Danish government.
There's absolutely no reason for this situation. No reason.
He added buying Greenland isn't an option either.
We are not for sale.
Trump recently hinted he'll make a decision on Greenland in about 2 months. Lindy Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Prior to the capture of Nicolas Maduro, the CIA was commissioned to produce an assessment modeling potential political leadership scenarios in Venezuela should Maduro cease to be president. CBS's Olivia Gazas reports.
We don't know exactly when the assessment was commissioned, but we do know that it was briefed to the president and his closest advisors as he was weighing whether to authorize this Operation Absolute Resolve.
A group of lawmakers and the families of fallen Capitol Hill police officers gathered to mark 5 years since the deadly January 6th U.S. Capitol attack. CBS's Allison Keyes.
Holding candles, a group of Democrats gathered on the steps of Capitol Hill, where rioters attacked lawmakers 5 years ago.
We must never forget.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer was at his desk that day when
thousands of rioters, egged on by Donald Trump, stormed the U.S. Capitol.
Schumer blasted the president for pardoning the rioters. Allison Keyes, CBS News, Washington.
A year after wildfires devastated areas of Los Angeles, the new fire chief spoke today about some of the lessons learned and some of the changes that will be made. Jaime Moore was not chief at the time of the Palisades and Lockman fires.
There were clearly significant shortcomings in our response as a department. And as the newly appointed fire chief, the responsibility for how this department prepares, deploys, and adapts for the future rests with me.
Record day on Wall Street for the Dow and S&P 500. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back-end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at aminet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation.
Good afternoon. Look like a wreck up against the wall. 440 eastbound near Nolensville Pike, where it's extremely heavy with volume over there this time of the afternoon. We've had a couple of wrecks already on 24 and one being worked right now. It's westbound. We're not too concerned with it near 440. Of course, it's heavy on 24 east right there, going out towards the Antioch area, pushing on into Murfreesboro. Hey, Stein Dental Care in Nashville has over 500 five-star wonderful Google reviews. Give them a call at Stein Dental Care in Nashville. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
Local farmers, local meats, vegetables, and other produce at the Winter Spring Rutherford County Farmers Market.
Every Friday at Lane Agri Park.
Rutherford weather.
Partly cloudy with areas of fog. Low near 46. On Wednesday, fog gradually dissipates with occasional sun and a high of 65. I'm meteorologist Laura Lockwood from the WGNS Rutherford Weather Center. Right now, 65.
We do it your way. Sir Pizza.
Order a royal feast or create your own pizza online now at sirpizzatn.com. Carry out and delivery for dinner tonight at sirpizzatn.com.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at wgnsradio.com.
From the first pitch to the final buzzer, this is where the conversation starts. All sports talk on WGNS and Big G TV, covering the Preps, MTSU, news from Tennessee and nationwide. Now, here's All Sports Talk on the Good Neighbor Network.
Good afternoon. Welcome to All Sports Talk, a Friday edition. Brings one thing.
Let's try it again. Welcome into All Sports Talk on this Tuesday edition. We get up to date. Jeff Jordan, Tim Tackett with you. Sir Jordan, good Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Well, maybe we should play the Friday edition. I don't know what was on Friday.
Well, we're here, so let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it live, so we can talk about things that are just posted. I don't know if you happened to watch the Ravens and the Steelers game Sunday night.
I did not. I'm no help to you.
The game was a playoff game, basically, because it was a playoff game because the winner moved on to the playoffs as the champions of the AFC East, no, Central, I think it is, whatever. And the loser goes home. As it were, Baltimore and Pittsburgh traded not lead about 3 times in the fourth quarter, and with 3 seconds to go, the Baltimore kicker is going to kick the field goal to win the game. They're down 26-24 and misses the field goal. So, as a result of one play, John Harbaugh's out of a job. They get fired by the Ravens. If that kick is made, they're not firing the coach, right? Now, they may eventually fire the coach at the end of the season, but he certainly wouldn't be fired today. But it kind of shows you what one play can make a difference in the life of a coach. Because let's say they win that game, they win the next game, they win the next game, they win the next game. He takes them all the way to the Super Bowl, and even if they lose there, likely not going to fire, are they?
No, they would not. The patience of just, I don't know, society, owners, whoever, it appears to be getting shorter and shorter. Which the Steelers, by the way, have determined that that's generally not the answer. Okay,
correct.
but Baltimore did not get that word.
Well, of course, Harbaugh's been there 18 years.
That's
so
true.
It's not like this was a hair-trigger decision.
Well, it was much to I have a daughter Renee, who is a big Pittsburgh fan, and so this pleased her greatly. So it pleased me greatly too.
What Mike Tomlin, the head coach at Pittsburgh's been there at least 18 years, hasn't he? He's been there a long, long time.
Long time.
And you're right about the Steelers. They've had him, and then before that, coach for a long time, and before that, Chuck Noll, and who was the last coach? He's on. on the post game shows.
Right. I can't call his name right now, but yes.
I think they've had about 3 coaches in the last 50 years.
That's correct. That is right. And they all have won Super Bowls or more than a Super Bowl. So I don't know that. It just seems like to me that in general, in college and pro, the patience of the owners and whatnot is sometimes getting, shorter and shorter.
And the reason that's making big news in Nashville is because the word is on the discussion block now. Should the Titans not interview John Harbaugh for the coaching job? And I would say absolutely they should if he's interested.
I would think so as well. And I was giving some thought to this today. Of course, the coaching thing. There's a lot of things. There are and will be, unfortunately, a number of people who will be without a job now already or in the next 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks that are very good football coaches.
Sure.
There's going to be some out there. That's not really the question. I think the question is, can they rebuild a team, not coach one necessarily? And that's a different question.
And Jeff, you'll agree with this, I'm sure. A lot of times it's not they're fired not because they're not good coaches. At some point in time, the new wears off. Too much of a good time. It's just time for a change, and they will admit we're letting go a really good coach.
Right.
And in John Harbaugh's case, I think that's clearly got to be the case. He's been there 18 years and won a bunch of games, and very well could be in the Hall of Fame, don't you think?
Oh, without question, yes.
And so it's not like they kicking the cat out of the curb. They can't coach anymore. But at some point in time, you just need to retread the tire.
And I do. I've had coaches say, even on the high school level, but certainly I've heard them on television and other places, up to and including Bob Cousy,
yes,
who said they have heard my voice enough.
Yes,
he said I can't tell him anything else. And he didn't even criticize the team necessarily. I believe at the time he was coaching a team that is no longer the Cincinnati Royals. But and I think he's right about that.
There happens to be a coach in New England that was the coach of the Titans 2 years ago. The Titans are struggling to find a coach to get things done. That guy could coach, right, in Nashville?
Sure.
Because he's shown that in New England, it worked out very well. So, all that said, let's stay on the football note since we started there a little bit and go into college. Jeff, we're down to 4 teams. Your thoughts on the Alabama debacle? We haven't talked about that since it happened. Not only did they lose, but as I say, just a debacle itself. Georgia loses. A bit of a surprise for sure. You got Miami, Ole Miss, Indiana, and Oregon left. I'm not sure how many of those at the beginning of the season I would put any of those in the Final Four. I don't know that I would have, but they're there. And just your thoughts on those 4 teams.
I'm with you. By the way, I really hadn't thought of it in that way, but I don't know that I would have put any of those 4 in the Final Four either. Certainly, I would not have eliminated Georgia under any circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I don't know. Ole Miss, they just seem like they just somehow or another they pull a rabbit out of the hat. It seems like quite often, and whether they can do it again or not, I don't know. Hope they can.
Well, they're carrying the ball for the SEC, Jeff.
Yeah, that's right.
The mighty SEC is down to 1 team, and because they beat Georgia, that one of those teams had to advance. They were going to get one in the semifinals for sure. But you look back at the SEC, it's been a rough ride for them. Texas A&M once upon a time was a top 2 or 3 team in the country, right? Georgia was there. Alabama is certainly fallen from grace, and so there you have Indiana just absolutely took Alabama to the woodshed for sure. Couldn't see that coming. I was one of those people that picked Alabama to win. I thought I just cannot say out loud that Indiana is going to beat Alabama in football. But after beating Ohio State the way they did and beating Alabama the way they did, I guess I have to be convinced Indiana's for real.
And they also beat Oregon.
Yes,
so
early in the year. Sure.
It's interesting matchups, I guess. Should result in a lot of fans watching the Super Bowl and the week before. I don't know if there's a favorite in there. I guess if you had to pick a favorite, you'd pick Indiana. I guess that's probably what you'd do.
I don't know how you don't if you're using your logic and take the name Indiana away from it. It's been a long time since Miami's been powerful, so they're not that brand name anymore, really. Ole Miss is not. Oregon is not. So, if I could pick one of the four, Indiana certainly would be the one I would pick.
And I think it would be the one I would pick too. But it's the Heisman Trophy winners there as a quarterback, and I told my wife the other day we were talking about it, and I said, this is hard to believe, but it's the truth. Even though I knew their record and I knew what they'd done, I just underestimated Indiana.
Sure,
I really did, and but it's because there's a lesson here. It's like underestimating Vanderbilt. You can underestimate them all you want to, but not based on this year. And Indiana's that way. You better pay attention. They're good, and they're good at a lot of spots.
What they did at Ohio State, even though they won the game, they won it 3 points. It was a close game, but Indiana controlled the game. There was no question in my mind at the end of it. It was not a fluke that they beat Ohio State that day. I still had not been convinced of that, but Ole Miss has rallied around the coaching debacle that ensued, and I think the offensive coordinator is still on board with the Ole Miss team, right? So calling the plays, which I think is the most important move that they have. I'm not sure that you have to have a head coach, but I do think the guy that makes the play calls for your team all season long is really important to have him on that sideline.
Well, I think that for whatever reason, I think we'd have to admit that I think that Kiffin is an unusual coach. He's just I don't know. He's entertaining sometimes. He's arrogant as all get out, but he seems somehow, some way to make it work. And his comments about, he was going to LSU at a place where he can win a national championship. Well, okay, they haven't done that in a while. And then his team turns around without him and wins a very important game. If they go ahead and win it all, he's really going to look stupid, but he's not stupid, of course. And he's going to make a pile of money as a result of the move. But I think there's interest in that just to see. And around here, of course, there's a lot of Tennessee fans that will never forget, that he left Knoxville. How can you leave the Vols? That kind of thing. So I don't know. One thing for sure, we're going to see here in a few days.
We will. Jeff, when we could take a break here in just a second. When we come back, we'll talk about MTSU basketball, which is off to a ravishing start. So pleased for that to happen. When we come back from the break, we'll do that on All Sports Talk.
Everyone has a more. First, it's a pony. Then to be on the cheer squad. Your more grows up just like you do. But your more can still carry you away or make you cheer. At First Bank, banking local gets you more. More of our time, more access to local bankers, more flexibility, and more product choices. Because getting more empowered and confident helps you pursue your more. That never grows old. First Bank, Bank local, get more. Member FDIC.
Sign-ups are going on right now for First Shot's Winter Basketball League in Rutherford County. Coach Andy Herzer guides kids to sharpen basketball skills and build teamwork through exciting clinics and games. Since 2003, First Shot has empowered youth to grow in mind, spirit, and body. Don't miss out. Join the fun and develop lifelong skills. Visit FirstShotTN.org today and register for the Winter Basketball League. That's FirstShotTN.org.
All across the country, drivers are reaping the rewards for safer driving with the updated Drive Safe and Safe app from State Farm. Plus, with dynamic new features like interactive maps and driving tips, the pursuit of your discount is even easier. You can earn up to 30%. Just download the Drive Safe and Save app from State Farm and get started. Just call me, Agent Deb Insel, at 931-684-5274, and we'll help you sign up today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When we started our flagship restaurant on Broad Street, who would have known we'd have grown and touched each four corners of Rutherford County? Now we have locations in South Murfreesboro, Smyrna, West Murfreesboro, and the original on 860 Northwest Broad Street.
Swing by one of our 4 locations after a game for some good food and fun.
Thank you, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and Rutherford County.
Thank you to our patrons and customers.
Thank you.
Good food and fun.
35 years. That's how long your family has trusted my family to care for your pets. Hi, this is Amanda from Animal City. Get your pets. New Year off to a great start with some fresh accessories and some new toys. Even though it's wintertime, our baby bird nursery has a lot of wonderful occupants. If a new feathered friend is in your future, come in and see us at Animal City. Stop by and get the best quality pet gear in town. Come see us at Animal City, 919 Northwest Broad Street in Murfreesboro.
For home restoration at a price you can afford, trust the professionals at Farrah Construction to get the job done on time and within your budget. Farrah Construction can remodel your home or can update your kitchen, bath, or other rooms. I'm Ron Hall. If you can dream it, Farrah Construction can turn it into reality. Call Farrah Construction at 615-893-6120. Shop local. Let our family business help you. Farrah Construction Company.
Well, good afternoon. They're working with a couple of accidents. One's 24 westbound near 440. Also, there's one 440 eastbound right at Nolensville Pike. They're both over to the side, but there's still a lot of rubbernecking going on associated with both of those accidents. It's still heavy right now, but moving. 40 headed out past the airport there through Donaldson, pushing on out into Wilson County. Hey, when you need dependable towing for a car or a big truck, call STR Towing and Recovery right here in Middle Tennessee. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's all sports talk from the Good Neighbor Network, FM 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, wgnsradio.com, and Big G TV.
Welcome back into All Sports Talk. Tim Tackett along with Jeff Jordan. Jeff brought to you by Fans Heating and Air and Lee Colvin Financial Services with Edward Jones. Rick Insel, in his 20th season at Middle Tennessee, Jeff is approaching 500 wins. He's got 4 to go after going on the road and winning twice, and I should know better. Even in my mind, think that Lady Raiders would not be 2-0, just like they almost always are in conference play. After a 5-7 start, it's been a very shaky preseason, I think, in most people's mind. Some nice wins, but some tough losses as well. But Jeff, they've won both games by double digits on the road, and I certainly wouldn't have expected that to happen. Congratulations to them, and they come home and they'll win 2 this weekend unless I miss my guess now.
Well, hope you're right about that. And they look like a team that maybe has worked their way through some bad times and some chemistry maybe that didn't look too good pretty late in the season for them to be having problems like that, but. I'm hoping that it's all worked out, and you're right about the 2 road wins. Whenever you win on the road, I don't care who you're playing. I don't care where you are. If you win on the road, you likely have done something pretty good.
Well, they're certainly not a finished product yet, for sure. They got a ways to go, and we predicted, no genius here, that they would struggle through the first part of the season because of the youth, the inexperience that they have, trying to find the parts and I think it's clear in my mind, at least, Coach Insel did maybe a bit more tinkering with that preseason schedule than he typically would, because he really didn't. Going in last year, for example, Jeff, he had four starters back, and he knew the fifth starter who that was going to be. He knew that going in, and so this year he didn't have that. So you try this combination, you give this player more chances than you might have in seasons past. But when it comes to the conference schedule, Rick's going to settle in on about 6 or 7 players that are going to play. And the tinkering is over with, and they've responded, and 2-0, and come home this weekend and play Thursday night at 6:30 and Saturday at noon.
I'm hoping that the tinkering is over. I'm sure he is as well, and he has something he can't do much about, and that is there is some size problems there that maybe slipped past us a little bit, but still, I see improvement in them, absolutely, a lot, and I kind of look back on, no disrespect intended for anybody at all, the Tennessee game was just, the fact that Tennessee won was not a fluke. I don't mean that. Were they better than us? Absolutely, they're better than we were. No question about it. We probably knew that before we tipped it off. But the margin and the way we played and how that game went, that was just kind of flukish, really. That was just very unusual. We just literally couldn't get anything done. Were generated by us and by Tennessee. No.
In the not just Lady Raiders ball team. We always have been. So yeah, that was hard to sit through, because that's too many turnovers by anybody in any league, and Coach knew that, and it was frustrating to watch.
I think so too, and I think one major difference in that game, one major problem, and it has not reared its head much since then. But the point guard, whoever was playing point guard, was guarded by the best defensive player on the floor by Tennessee, and often double teamed, and were evidently unable to get it to that other girl who's open. Somebody's got to be open. If they've got 3 guarding 4, somebody's open. But we did not do that, and repeatedly did not do it. Not just once, a lot. Well, that hadn't happened since.
Well, 2-0, Liberty will be a team to be reckoned with, have been for the last few years. Jeff, it's a real surprise, and this will bring a smile to your face if you've not paid attention to it. Western Kentucky is 0-2, and they've lost by double digits to the 2 teams Middle Tennessee won by double digits. Now, Western appears to be just really on the skids.
Well, you said a smile to my face. You're right. That doesn't bother me a bit. But anyway, and we've got them coming up here pretty soon.
I'm sure I haven't looked at the schedule to see how far that happens to be, but so Middle at home on Thursday night, that's against UTEP, and then it's New Mexico State on Saturday. The men on the road at the same 2 places, Jeff, they are 3-0. Their wins have not been all by double digits. 2 of them have been by 1 point. But a great Friday night show against Louisiana Tech. 22 3-pointers, a school record by a bunch. And, Jeff, there's been very precious few times in NCAA history that teams have had 22 3-pointers in a game. It was just shot 50%. It's amazing how a team looks really good when you shoot it that well.
Yeah, and that was a delight. And I know my granddaughter was there. I was not there that night, and my granddaughter was there. And she was texting me and said that we were about to set a school record and all that kind of stuff, which then we promptly did it. That's a bunch of points. That's just a lot of points.
Sure.
If you hit 22 of those babies, that's 66 points. You'll win a lot of games, nothing but that. But anyway, and then I don't know if we're going to take a break before
no, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that the Sam Houston game, which was this past weekend, was not a good ball game in terms of the two teams were flawless and didn't make many mistakes and etc. That's not true. In fact, it was pretty sloppy, really. A lot of it was, but it was a very exciting game, and went right down to literally the last second and a half, literally.
Middle Tennessee's opened, Jeff, at the first 10 minutes. Looked like they were going to do exactly what they did Friday night. They were, I think, hit 5 or 6 3-pointers in the first 6-8 minutes of the half, and we're up 15, 16, 17 points someplace in that first half, weren't they?
I believe we had them 28-15, I believe, something like that, early in that ball game, and had done virtually nothing wrong. Seemingly, we got every break and were executing fine, and then it was tied at half.
Right,
34-34, and and everybody around me was very disappointed, as was I. I thought, well, gosh, we ought to be up 15, and we're not.
There were not a lot of turnovers in the basketball game, even though both teams I thought were rock solid defensively. Really, it was a bump and grind kind of a basketball game for sure. The second half, Middle Tennessee wins it on a slam dunk with 2.7 seconds to go.
That's right.
In the game. So it worked out that way, and then they were not able to get a shot up. Threw the ball inbounds, and the young man that tried to catch it was on the sideline when he caught the ball. So Middle Tennessee gets the basketball back. Anyway, win it there by 168-67. They are now 3-0, tied for first place with two other teams. Liberty, one of those teams, that's 3-0 as well. They go on the road against UTEP on Thursday night and New Mexico State on Saturday. Neither one of those teams appear to be the best in the league, but those are two really tough places to play. Those teams really are heavily supported, and no matter what their record is going to be, it's going to be a tough battle for Middle. Come back home 5-0 would be fantastic.
Every coach, I guess, including me and you, we just dreaded somebody beating us with a 50-footer, at the horn or something. We just, because it's happened to me at least once that I can remember, and it was devastating. But heck, it happened. But you were exactly right. You said the guy caught the ball and turned, and I guess that was a shot. I'm not sure whether it was or not. He was about 45 feet from the basket, and he had 2.7 seconds, but he stepped on the sideline. And I'll say this for the official. By golly, he called it.
Yeah.
I mean, he absolutely went over, got down on his knees, and pointed to the line. And no one said anything. But the opportunity still was there because they had, I don't know, a second and a half maybe or so. They fouled us immediately. We were 1 point up. We go back to the line and to shoot, I guess a 1-and-1.
It was first 1-1, missed the front end.
And missed it. And so now they got the ball back, and they got another chance to fire one up, but it was nowhere close. And it's just very exciting.
Fire one up from about 60 feet.
At least.
Off balance kind of a thing. So all went well, and so we come home happy. So right now, combined 5-0, and Jeff, I'll be real honest with you. I wouldn't have put any money on that happening at all.
Me either. No, definitely not.
I made the comment. I think I asked you last time we were on the air which team thought would finish higher in the standings, the men or the women, and I made the comment men. I don't know. Let's just hope they both finish number one. How about that?
Hey, I'll take that.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Chip Walters will be up with the Blue Raider Insider Report on All Sports Talk.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's has a team of experienced auctioneers and realtors who make selling your property simple. Whether you're selling your home, farm, or have an estate to settle, auctions are easy, fast, and profitable. You don't have to worry about the hassle of updates, repairs, or showings, and you'll receive multiple offers on auction day.
Clark's Auction Company will get you top dollar for your property.
Clark's Auction Company, committed to auction excellence.
Sold it to you, 27.5.
The residents at Stones River Manor love the environment.
I just really like it. Of course, I'm in an apartment and I can come and go and do kind of what I want to.
Stones River Manor, serving the community since 1977.
My husband felt much better when he passed away that I was taken care of here. We got married in 58 and in 60 he went in Air Force.
Stones River Manor in Murfreesboro, near the intersection of Haynes Drive and Memorial Boulevard.
Hi, this is Wade Hayes of Toots Restaurants, and our family would like to thank this community for supporting Toots for 40 years.
Head over to Toots.com for our daily specials, our menu, and all of our locations. Check out our Kids Club for some extra deals. Thank you to our patrons and customers.
Thank you for dining with us since 1985.
Thank you, Rutherford County.
Thank you for dining with us for 40 years.
Good food and fun.
Here's the tale of Tina, searching up and down for decent GLP-1s, but got spun around.
Tell Good RX Road and hey, we got something new. GLP-1 prescriptions, all FDA approved.
Brand name meds, no flags that are red.
Clear pricing from the start. None of those hidden fees in your cart.
Delivered to your door or pick up same day. Darn tootin'.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
I'd put it to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance. Next on All Sports Talk, it's the Blue Raider Insider Report with Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb & Associates.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks to everybody that came out last night to the Boulevard for our first basketball radio shows of the year. Had a huge crowd that was there for the full 2 hours, got there early. We'll be back again next Monday night. Hope you'll be there as well, and hope we're continuing to talk about a lot of Blue Raider wins and a lot of Blue Raider award winners. Speaking of such, there were two, one on each side, men and women, that picked up a major award this week. Following a record-setting week, Middle Tennessee men's guard Alec Oglesby voted the Conference USA Player of the Week. The graduate student averaged 14.3 points while leading Middle to a 2-1 record for the week. The award is the first of his career and the third for a Blue Raider this season. Torrey Alston has won it twice already this year. Oglesby had 12 points against the 8th-ranked Houston Cougars last Monday on 4 made threes, and then came back and had a career-high 25 against Louisiana Tech, knocking down 8 3-pointers, tying for the most of a conference player this season and the second most in single-game program history. He was 4 of 4 to start that run, and then had another good day on Sunday afternoon. But congratulations to Alec Oglesby. This week, the Blue Raiders are traveling and will be at UTEP on Thursday and will play at New Mexico State on Saturday. Tomorrow night in Conference USA, Missouri State will be at Kennesaw and FIU at Jack State. Thursday night, Liberty at Louisiana Tech, Delaware at Sam Houston, Western Kentucky at New Mexico State, and Middle will be at UTEP. Right now, in the men's side, Liberty, Middle, Missouri State, and Middle, Liberty, and Missouri State, the only 3 unbeatens at 3-0 in conference play. On the women's side, Blair Bogus continues her remarkable freshman year, named the Conference USA Freshman of the Week for the 5th time this year. Bogus delivered a pair of dominant performances to help guide the Blue Raiders through conference play, opening the week with a career night against Kennesaw State, 25 points, 10 rebounds, 3 steals, a block, and an assist while shooting 9 of 15 from the field, 7 of 9 from the free throw line. Followed that up against Jacksonville State with another double-double, 13 points, 10 rebounds, 3 steals, and an assist. She was 6 of 10
from the field and recorded her 7th career double-double, giving her back-to-back double-doubles for the week. Around Conference USA this week, the action is on Thursday night. Sam Houston at Liberty, Louisiana Tech at Delaware, Jacksonville State at FIU, Kennesaw at Missouri State. Middle will be hosting UTEP at 6:30, and New Mexico State will be at Western Kentucky. On the women's side, Sam Houston, Missouri State, Liberty, and Middle all unbeaten, but Liberty and Middle are the only two schools with 2-0 records so far. The women play an 18-game conference schedule this year, while the men will be playing a 20-game conference schedule. Middle Tennessee soccer coach Aston Roden announced the signing of 5 transfer players. They are Taylor Dodson, Haley Phillips, Bryn Forchick, Valentina Navetta, and Sachi Bureau. Their bios and information can all be found on GoBlueRaiders.com. That's it for today, folks. We're traveling. We'll talk to you tomorrow from the West Texas town of El Paso, right here on WGNS. And don't forget, tomorrow morning, Chris Davis of News Channel 5 will be my guest on the roundtable here on the Big G, WGNS.
It's all sports talk from the Good Neighbor Network, FM 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, WGNSradio.com, and Big G TV.
We are back. Tim Tackett along with Jeff Jordan. Jeff brought to you by Fans Heating and Air, Lee Colvin Financial Services with Edward Jones. Good report, Chipper. Thank you so much for that. Jeff, high school basketball is starting district play here this week. I know the 4A schools begin on Friday night. 8 schools in the same district. First time that's happened in a long, long time. Jeff, it's been a pretty tough overall year in basketball so far. We've got 2 or 3 teams that are doing extremely well. Eagleville boys are 13-0, Jeff, and they've got a real shot going on. PCA, Blackman both have 10 wins apiece, and after that, we really got more teams with losing records than winning records. And on the girls' side, Middle Tennessee Christian School is 12-1. Blackman is 9-3, and then 9-4 for PCA, and it kind of goes from there. So it unusually poor records by a lot of teams. We just aren't used to seeing that way.
I agree with that, and I haven't seen everybody yet. I'll be getting out, as you will you, and see some people play in the next couple of weeks. I saw Oakland, and then saw them again, and they were noticeably better. And I think they lost the first game I saw, and then they came back and won the other night. Played very well. I was glad to see their progress. Coach Thomas done a good job with them, and they're young. But, everybody, a lot of people have that problem. But you're right. We don't look like we have a dominant team in the county, other than the Eagleville boys, maybe. And the Blackman girls they almost, I think you'll agree with this. Jennifer Grandstaff's teams almost always make great progress.
They do
during the year.
They're 9-3, and Jeff, they always play a tougher preseason, pre-district schedule than most schools will do. So they'll be right there. And of course, Middle Tennessee Christian girls, Jeff, with 1 loss, great start for them.
Well, we would love to have some teams in the state tournament, regardless of level, regardless of division. And we've got enough teams that somebody will scare that to death or be there. I don't know who that'll be though. Maybe more than one team. We'll see. We got January and February, and we've got that old bugaboo injuries that can happen to you, not only to you but maybe to the opposition. You just don't know. But I know this. If you go out and see a game, you're going to see some pretty good basketball in Rutherford County. You just will.
the 8 squads is pretty unusual. There's a lot of districts, Jeff, in the state that have only 4 teams. That, district play doesn't mean a lot because they're all 4 teams going to make the region. Here, it's not that way. 4 teams are not going to make the region.
It's a dogfight.
So they've got to get some things done in district play.
And you report to a game in the district tournament sometimes, and maybe the first round of the region, and for the first time you're facing elimination if you lose. Mm-hmm. I mean, right then, and that sometimes can make a difference in who wins the ball game. If the team hasn't faced elimination at all much, and then all of a sudden they've got a game they've got to win, absolutely, that can put on some pressures that maybe weren't there before.
What is there anything we can point to say why do we have records like 5-8, 2-8? I'm talking about girls basketball. 3-5, 7-10, 6-9, 3-7, 5-8. Where many years, most of those schools, if not all of them, would have a 500 or better record going into district play.
Well, I'm not certain that I understand your question.
The question is, why do we not see that level of maybe dominance from the county level that we saw so many years ago?
Well, I think one thing has been pretty clear around here, and that is we often knock each other off.
Sure.
And that's very true right now. And I don't think I think we're younger than ever. I'm talking about the whole league now. We have a lot of players that have really just started their high school basketball career, and they're going to get better. But in the meantime, you do absorb some losses. There's no question about that.
Well, the league play begins in earnest this week, and it'll run about 7 weeks, Jeff. Mid to third week of February, fourth week of February is when you get ready for tournament action, and so this is the time you really need to get it done.
Well, yeah, that's correct, and you're getting pretty close to the time, and I imagine they are. I would guess that. I haven't seen every team, but I imagine they are. They've settled on their starters, and they've settled on their rotation. And you and I have talked about this before: 6-on-6, 5-on-5. I spent a lot of time, and I don't think too much time at all. I think I spent just a lot of time deciding who that first player off the bench was going to be.
Sure.
Because chances are pretty good that, first of all, if that 6th player or 7th player or 4th guard or 4th forward, if we're still talking 6-on-6, that person needs to be a real contributor. And I was pretty lucky with that on balance.
I've got to wonder in my mind if the additional sports that we've got going on now, you got flag football for girls that's there, you got lacrosse that's coming on and so forth. There's so many opportunities now for people, and I do wonder, do you have as many girls playing volleyball and basketball, for example?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
You have situations where you've got now some kids maybe 10 years ago doing both, now only doing one, and so you have a less supply of players coming in that direction. Jeff, I think that most of these high schools have 17, 18 different sports opportunities. That's a bunch of.
That's right.
to deal around and so forth, and so. That said, it gives more kids an opportunity to play something, which is what it's supposed to be about, I guess.
I don't know if we'll have anybody or not. I saw a player. I'm not going to use his name, but he doesn't like for me to do that, so I won't do it. But he was a Riverdale outstanding young man, really. I mean, just really, he really was and is. But he was a 4-letter athlete. He played all 4 of at that time the major sports, including, of course, baseball, football, basketball, and track.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes there's not, football overlaps with basketball for sure, and basketball will overlap maybe with baseball and with track. And I just thought we don't have many 4-star athletes, 4-letter linemen, players anymore, and that's unfortunate. But it's become very specialized, I think, in many cases.
And there's a reason for that, I think, is scholarship opportunities and now getting paid to play in college.
Right.
Opportunities kind of, I won't say causes you to, but it's certainly there's some advantage now to saying, I'm just going to pick one sport early on and play it and see if I can't be really good at that as opposed to enjoying the high school experience that maybe you and I would think about.
Right. And sometimes, right or wrong, a coach of one sport will insist that the athlete play that sport only.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's a good idea, bad idea. I'm just saying it happens.
It happens more now than it used to, for
sure.
Oh,
yes. And, of course, parents that have to go all over creation so their kid can play whatever sport it might be might limit it to one as well, at a time anyway. I don't know what's the best thing to offer there. I do know that sometimes the football season, if it extends very far at all into the postseason, even maybe just one game, you've limited that player's opportunity to play the next sport. Maybe, and that could be a good thing, could be bad.
Let's carry it to this area, summertime, off season, where it's almost now so busy in the summer doing this, that, and the other. How many sports can you play? Summer basketball, summer softball, summer volleyball, summer this, summer that, travel ball, and whatever. I think that's got to be a factor as well.
I can almost assure you that it is, and I have been a critic a lot of times of travel teams, and I'm not certain anymore that I was really being entirely fair. All I've said is I would be very careful with, if I were a parent, I would be very careful of who was coaching my daughter, in my case, daughters, in the off season, who they were traveling with, where they were going, that sort of thing. But there's also a situation where the summer and the summer leagues can be very beneficial to a player.
Let's throw one more thing into it. You and I both members of the school board in the past, and we're very pro-education. Jeff, I think we have to recognize that we now spend a little bit more time trying to be academic in schools than maybe we were 40, 50 years ago when kids were athletes and coaches were not maybe as required to be an academic leader in the classroom the way that they are now. There's an academic side to this thing that, rightfully so, that finding coaches that want to teach their classes and coach the basketball teams or the football teams it's got to be harder and harder to find those people. I think we spread that a little thin, comparatively speaking.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And if you hire a basketball coach, we'll just throw that out. Could be anybody, but if you hire a coach because they're an excellent coach, and that's your only reason for hiring them, okay? The rest of the time, academic part, you could be in real trouble. You might have made a real mistake, and we've had some people that, and I will use his name, and we've talked about it before, but there are others. Okay, no, please don't call me. There are others. Randy King, a terrific basketball coach, no question. A great math teacher.
Yes.
So, and that's what he did. That was his job, and he did it well. Now, there are others that did other things. I'm aware of that. I wouldn't take up for all of them. I don't know. But anyway, you want great people. That's what you want.
I think as a principal of a school, I'm more concerned now than I was before that the person that comes in to coach my team or whatever is also going to be in my classroom. I'm more in tune with the fact that I need to hire a teacher that can coach as opposed to hiring a coach that can sit in a classroom and quote teach.
I think you're. I don't think you're right. I know you're right about that, and I think that most principals, we come right down to it, would admit that that's the correct. That's what you better do.
Well, I was going to say, there's no admission to it. That is what you better do.
Yeah.
People, we're giving grades now in academics.
Yeah.
You look in the paper and see how school does and how that's done. So take nothing away from. But the past was the past, and I think we all look back from you and I are old enough to be able to say this out loud because the time has gone past. But there were more than a few coaches that were not teaching classes.
Right, and we need to remember something else, and I think the public, if they're not aware of this, they certainly need to be aware of it. And at the end of the year, at some point along the way, and maybe during the year too, there's going to be test scores.
Yes.
Those test scores will reveal a great deal. And I'd like for it, in my case or your case, I'd like for it to reveal that we gave it everything we had academically as well as on the field or court.
There are still ways, as a principal, that you can protect the classroom integrity from a good coach. And I have no idea what kind of classroom teacher Kevin Creasy is, but I'm going to suggest that a person that in his role may have a few less academic responsibilities than maybe some other teachers may have. But you can't do that 17 different times, Jeff. You can't do that in whatever. But you can do it in a few. And say, I have no reason to question whether he or Gary Rankin, the classroom teacher, any of those people were not excellent at that. I don't know. But what I do know is we were able in the olden days to protect those kind of situations a lot better than you're able to do it in the expanded coaching roles that people have now.
I think that's a good statement. I think that's accurate. And really, if you're hiring a person to do whatever they're doing, coaching a sport and cheerleader sponsor, volleyball, I think you have every right, every duty to expect them to do an exceptional job everywhere they are.
Sure.
That's you're not saying, well, you just go ahead and try this over, that'd be all right. But boy, that volleyball team better win. No, that won't work. If you keep doing that, you'll be the one that'd be looking for a job if you're a principal.
Well, we'll close it up here, Jeff. There used to be what we call study halls, that the coach could be in the academic setting at study hall and not have a teaching load to do, no grades to give, no papers to grade in that class, so forth. Do that 3 or 4 times a day, and take the academic responsibility, but not have a lot of time involved with that. That doesn't happen anymore. You're in a classroom with teaching responsibilities in almost all settings.
Yes, and I will. You gave me an opportunity to say sort of a pet peeve of mine, and I had nothing to do with this. I never did any of this sort of thing. But the driver's ed teacher.
Yes.
People will say, well,